That's what you do. You buy these clothes that cost money and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on, with a smile on his face.
They just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative. Regurgitating the same old, same old, same old, every single day, without the sun. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first season, the first 2 episodes, the second season, something like that. Stallone.
We are on the site of the castle.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
Good morning, everyone. It's me again. Yes, it's Frank. And behind me is a cracking film. It's a cracking film. And I remember I was talking to Jason, you know, the producer, and he said to me, he said, hey Frank, he said, I watched the cracking film. I said, what's that? And he said, Triangle. I said, I've seen it, and it's brilliant. Now, it is, and it stars this girl, Melissa George, but it's good. It's good. You just see, at the very, it's about a yacht, put it that way, about a yacht. And people are on it, and she's one of them. She gets invited to go along. I can't show you it, can I? Melissa George, very good actress. She's an Australian. Can I move here? Yeah, that girl. It's really good, and she gets invited on this yacht, you know, with some of the friends, and they go sailing. And I think you know, like, what's going to happen, if you know what I mean. There's going to be a tragedy. But there's a story within a story. And that story is enveloped by another story. It's really good. It's really good. So that's highly recommended, and you'll be able to get it on YouTube. You'll be able to get it on. Triangle. I seen it a few years ago, and when it was on YouTube, I went, "Oh, I'll have a look at that." You know, to see if it's the same. Do you know when you see it like the first time? And it was very good. It makes you think. Put it that way. It's something that makes you think. I mean, Jason and I were talking about it, trying to figure out, if you know what I mean. Be interesting to see what you think of it. Yeah, what you think. I'm terrified to move my arm, you know, in a certain place. So you can just, like, you know, when you're sitting in bed, pulling the pillows up. Because I always lean over and use my left arm to lift the pillow up. I mean, then it goes. Terrible fucking state. Anyway, there's the capo here, the boss. Good morning, FC and TV chatters. I will be out and about doing things that I probably won't be in a condition to do after tomorrow. You know what I mean? Have a good show. Best wishes with hope. And a lovely, you'll never walk alone. I love that. Ali News, Ali, our Romanian friends. Morning, Frank. Hope you're well. Hiya, Ali. I was made up that really delighted, to be honest, that a judge overturned the cancellation of Kalen Georgescu. He said, yeah, he could go ahead. But you've got another party who went, no, we don't want him. And they're blocking it. That's no democracy. That isn't democracy, to stop a fella who will win the Romanian general election. And what it is, it goes back all the way back to Brussels. They've stopped him from getting in simply because he's more interested in his country and the people of Romania, like your good self and your mother, rather than wars with Ukraine, with Russia and Ukraine. He said, no, I'm concentrating on my own country. And it's shocking how corrupt your country is by not allowing them to go in. But there's still time, there's still time, for them to, something should be done. The EU are so corrupt. They're unelected people who are running the whole of Europe and telling you, me, and everybody else what to do and what to say and how to think. That's corruption on a huge scale. And it's wrong. Because it's all Russophobia. It really is. The people, the bureaucrats in Russia, in the EU, just hate Russia. They just hate them. They hate Russians. And they're stopping people. I'm not saying they support Russia, but if they're involved with their own country, like Orban, like Viktor Orban and Fico of Slovakia, they're more interested in their own country, not interested in Ukraine and giving them money. The most corrupt country on earth. And they said, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. And what the Brussels are also saying as well is allow loads of people into your country. Fico said, no, we're not allowing anybody in. I'm talking about migrants. Orban said it. Orban said, no way are we allowing these people in. No way. So they all turned against them, didn't they? They turned against Hungary and Slovakia, and there's Serbia. There's colour revolution trying to go on, and it's all America with these colour revolutions, and it's shocking what they're doing. Vučić, their president or prime minister, whatever he is, and he's the same as Orban. He's the very same as Orban and Fico. And Georgescu, they're more interested in their own country. Don't forget, in 1999, what happened to Serbia and NATO. NATO are a terrorist organisation. People don't realise that. And in 1999, They bombed Serbia for 60 days non-stop. What for? No one knows. Just to try and get Serbia under control. It's shocking what they did. And now he says, yeah, but they cancelled him again now. Yeah or no? These judges are. I can't make that out. By the corruption. Oh yeah, they obey the corrupt. I think that's what you're saying. They obey the corrupt system. Of course they do. They put them there, Frank. Probably they will cancel everything until their guy is president. Of course. And the people of Romania, the 68% of the people of Romania don't want this fella who wants to go and be the president. They want Georgescu. They want Georgescu. That's who they wanted to vote, because the people of Romania said, yeah, let's think about us, never mind Ukraine. Shocking. Yeah, Frank, Romania is a very corrupt country. I never had the chance to grow. Even if I work like crazy all my life, in Romania, if you don't have money or high relatives, you are nothing. Tired of it. Same here. Same here. It's the elite. In every country around the world, the elites run the country. All those countries they run. It's what you call the deep state. And it's all American. But I believe nowadays that all the Europe is, yeah, of course they are. And UK as well. Yeah, of course. No use. You don't have to have your opinion. Of course, we know it is. We know it is. And they want to go, our Prime Minister, he wants to go to war with Russia. He wants to go, he just wants a war. He's got no fucking chance. He wants to send like the flagship, which is a massive aircraft carrier. It'll just be blown out the fucking water in same swearing already. It'll just be blown out of the water in the Black Sea. Just be blown up. If they attempt, this is all Russian waters, you know. Doesn't matter, Frank. People are afraid. If you go and protest, they put you. That's the problem. That's the control they've got, even in this country. You can't say anything. You could go to jail for it. One lad went to jail, 50-odd-year-old fella, and he died in there. He died in jail. And that always gets brushed under the carpet. No, but the likes of myself and some other people, keep it going. That Starmer guy, man. I believe he tries his best to destroy England. For me, it's sad. English people are good people, but I believe Starmer is just a pawn. My opinion. That's a very good opinion, Ali. It's a very good opinion. Because we all feel the same. What you're saying, we feel the same about this man, our Prime Minister. He's controlled, and he's controlled by the Americans, BlackRock. He's controlled by the deep state of America. We have a deep state as well. I'm not just saying the Americans. but they take, we take notice of them. They tell us what to do. They tell Starmer what to do. And all because of Russia. Well, anyway, getting back to the films. Triangle. Try and have a look at it. It's on YouTube. And you will be pleasantly surprised. And I watched the film last night when I went to finish the current affairs. And I went in and watched Doc Hollywood, for something light entertainment. And it was funny. It was funny then years ago, and it was funny now. It was funny now. Know what I mean? So I watched that, it was good. But there's another film I want to talk about, but I'll go on to your comments. The Black and White Boy. Morning all. Watched Dune last night. Not one of David Lynch's best. Think it was his attempt at Star Wars. Do you know what? I've never ever watched Star Wars, any Star Wars. Never watched it for some reason. Never watched it. And I've never watched Dune. I tried to watch it once when Sting was in it, and I thought, oh, fuck this. I just couldn't watch it. But David Lynch is a great, he's just died, hasn't he? Great director. But he did unusual films. The likes of Blue Velvet, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and also Mulholland Drive. Excuse me. Mulholland Drive. Really good. Ali Danouche. What I believe is that the US economists are behind everything since 1800. Yes, they've always have been. All the economies. Even you go back to the Roman times, and their economies, had to be spot on. So you had the likes of, I'll just mention the name Crassus. He was a great senator. And he was a very wealthy senator. And the likes of Caesar, Julius Caesar, that is. He didn't want to go back to Rome because of the corruptness. And he said, there's only one man I trust, and that was Crassus. So he said, listen, Crassus, he said, do us a favour. Can you give me the money to pay me soldiers so I can get over to Britannicus? He said, yeah. So he gave them the money. So they funded these armies. But they funded them for a good reason. And their reason was to trade. People think that the Romans just went in and slaughtered, which they did, you know what I mean? If they went to war, they just wanted to trade. Rome had everything. Rome had everything. But, other countries had things that they wanted as well. It's just like today. It's just like today. Trade to keep the economy going. And the likes of these senators who were wealthy, they were making a lot of money out of trade. That's why they used to back armies, to get to these places. So the economy is very important for every country. It's not only that, but what you've also got to look at is, how can I put this? Like okay, let's see if I move. Oh, blimey. I might have to take a tablet. See what goes in a minute. No painkiller. Don't like taking painkillers, you know. Don't like becoming addicted to anything. I just don't want to be addicted. Especially painkillers. I feel sorry for myself sometimes. What's wrong with me? Why can't I be alright? Why can't I be just for a day free of pain? It's like the fucking toothache, you know, this here. Right there. Goes from there to there. And the most horrible thing as well, I'm starting to get it here. Let me write that. Ali the News. What I believe is that the US economists are behind everything since when JP Morgan led the corruption. Brilliant. Now, yeah, BlackRock, Soros, etc. Okay, let's change the subject. We went crazy. No, you're right, and the good comments. You should have been on. You should have been on my show last night. It was really good. I wanted to talk about Trump and loads of other things, but unfortunately, last night was absolutely brilliant because comments were coming in thick and fast, and I never had time. But you're right, BlackRock is embedded now in this country because Starmer brought them in. Soros, bad dude. Klaus Schwab, bad dude, as the Americans say. But JP Morgan, let me tell you something about JP Morgan. And it's horrendous. And it's involved Nikola. It's involved Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest inventors of any era. Nikola Tesla. And with all the electricity, he had two massive towers. And these two massive towers generated electricity. And he did it. And he said to JP Morgan, well, you know, there was a little meeting. And even Edison, not the way they all praise Edison. I don't. Great man for what he was doing. So anyway, this meeting, and Tesla said, everything here is free. The electricity. Let's give it to the world. Let's light up the world for free. Let's light up the world for free. They said no. JP Morgan said no. There's money to be made. And Edison said the same. Excuse me, I've got to get this fucking thing, whatever dropped. Fucking hell. I don't know where that fucking thing's gone. Jesus. fucking drops something in here and it just fucking vanishes. Really pissed off. Fuck. I'm cracking up, you know. I'm fucking cracking up. I'm fed up. In pain. Just drop something. I haven't a fucking clue what. Don't know where the fuck it's gone. I have to put my little torch. No. 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 Fuck. Excuse me, boys and girls. I'm sorry for the language. Really am. But Jesus Christ. Fuck. Got us anyway. Fuck's sake. Yeah, so that's, I'm awfully sorry, but I'm so frustrated, you know, with pain and isn't she lovely? Isn't she lovely? Melissa Jones, she's a good actress. Triangle, don't forget. And I was watching, you know, like I won't watch woke films, and so I seen this one, and it was called Assessment. And I went, I wonder what this will be about. Put us on, brand new film. So I said, it was like global warming, you know, destroyed the earth and whatever, and there's only enough things, you know, to have children, enough resources. So they're telling you if you can have children or not, and if you know, you'd be a good parent and whatever, you know. So I was sitting there watching it. Fucking hell. And I just couldn't get into it. After about, I always, if nothing grabs my attention, honestly, you know, in the first 5 or 10 minutes, I won't watch it. But I gave this a chance. And I thought, fucking hell. So after about 20 minutes, I went, I'll put it on again. So I turned it off, you know. I'll have another look at it. Then I put it on last night. The same. I just couldn't get fucking into it. One of these woke ones, you know. I don't know. I'll have to watch it in full. It's a brand new film, you know. It's a brand new film. Edward. Good morning, Edward. I was Triangle years ago. Same thing that keeps happening. Oh, so you watched Triangle? It's very good. But, you know, whatever conclusion you make, whatever conclusion you try to come up with, you know, someone will have a different opinion. And as I said, Jason and I were having a chat, and it was good. Strange how he said, there's a good film called, I said, yeah, it's one of my little favourites. You're right there, Edward. Good morning, Frank, says Paul Turner. Hope you're okay and everything came back okay from you. I've got to go back. Francine can only take me up on Tuesday. But she's not taking me up. She has to give samples to. She said, I'll take them up on Tuesday, Dad. I won't be able to do it. It's strange how fucking doctors shut over the fucking weekend. It could have been done today. It could have been done tomorrow, but they fucking shut. And my pharmacy now, fucking hell. I'm disgusted. I had to go without me. I have important tablets to take. Very important. When I had that triple repair aneurysm, and I went to see them, met the surgeon 6 months later. Lovely man. Young fella, fucking young. I said, thank you. A complete stranger. Saving a stranger's life. Thank you. And he said, that's the first time anyone has ever said that to me. And I mentioned about these tablets. I said, will I have to take them? And he said, yeah, for life. He said, don't miss them. Do not miss taking them every day. I said, okay. Make sure you take them. I said, okay, I will, you know. He said, you'll be taking them until your 90s, you know, into your 90s. More or less, you know. I was made up with that. Made up, you know. I'm not saying like I'm going to live into my 90s or anything, but it's the way he said it. It was gentle. It was heartfelt. So I said, okay. But I couldn't get them. Being promised by these fucking new people that's taken over the pharmacy and I didn't fucking know. I didn't know. Don't who the fucking hell they are. Foreigners. I said, do you when I went in, I said, do you realise that you promised me that these are imperative that I take last thing at night, first thing of the morning to keep me alive? I've got podcasts to do. Never said that. Paul carries it. I only watched the first 2 Star Wars films. Never was really bothered with the others. Same with the Star Trek series. I only watched the original. Yeah, I'm a Trekkie. But I watched the films, you know, with the same cast. Now, I've got to admit that, Paul. And the black and white boy says, any country that is not in the world banking cartel is labelled, you're the man. You're the man. Invaded and its leader replaced with a new puppet. Well, that's the Americans. They go in for regime check. They try to do it with Vladimir Putin. I don't know whether you're aware of this, but Russia, the whole of Russia, has got the most resources. And the world fucking relies on them. The world relies on them. Did you know that they feed the world? God, blimey, me this fucking thing as well. Fall to bits. But they feed the world. And all the sanctions that fucking the EU's put on, they're still taking they have to take out to feed themselves. Certain wheats and grains. Fucking hypocrites. Hypocrites. A lot of them. And Russia was always giving cheap energy to the EU to keep their industries going. Now they're fucked. Especially Germany. And let Schultz listen to Biden to say we've got means of shutting down the Nord Stream, which was the main pipeline to feed energy. He just fucking stood there and said no. Pair of them in the White House at a press conference. That's what fucking the Germans are like. All as I want is Trump to keep to his word, just fucking walk away from Ukraine and just say to the European, you fucking carry on. But take away all their satellites, don't give them fucking arms or anything. That war will be over like that. And get Zelensky off for corruption. Sends him to fucking jail. Corrupt him. He came out, didn't he, in a statement yesterday or the day before. Someone asked him, where's the money got? He said, oh yeah, you never gave us 200 billion. You only gave us 100 billion, and that's all accounted for. Fucking liar. He's a liar because in the Senate 2 years ago, there's a fella named Senator Rand Paul, great senator he is, this fella, Rand Paul, and he stood up in the Senate and he said, I want to audit where this money, where the US taxpayers' money is going to Ukraine. I want it audited. I want auditors to go over there now. And he refused them. That's the corruption. Because a lot of fucking money was going back to the States and Biden. In other words, Ukraine is the biggest washing machine on the planet. Money laundering. They still can produce money. They have machines, but we need to pay taxes. Yeah. I forget how many trillion. This is what gets me. I forget how many trillion that that America is indebted to. But who did he pay? People that they're involved in, like the World Economic Forum, the WEF. I think we're stupid. Edward, the watch. What watch are you wearing, Frank? It's a Breitling. It's a Breitling. I've got two Breitlings. I have a Cartier. Two Breitlings. I have a Longines. I've had a Longines since 2009. It's a cracking watch. I hardly wear it. Beautiful watch. Perfect time. But I'm fed up with batteries. Every fucking watch today is battery, except this. This is why I wear this a lot. Show you. Because It's a Breitling. You see it? See, it's a windy up watch. It's a windy up watch. Made up with it. And he always winds it up. Keeps perfect time. Funny enough, if I put my long jeans on now, I wouldn't know how to work it because it's got all these buttons on. I don't know how to work. And even I've got one of these, right? Another Breitling, as I said, and to get the you know the way you clip it all in it, but I couldn't get it off, and I forgot how to get it off because it's got these little safety things, you know. I went to bed and everything, couldn't get it off, never couldn't work out. Well, that answers your question, Ed. Soros is pure, undiluted evil, says upstairs and down the hallway. Yes. Horrible man. Klaus Schwab as well. He's been milking the WEF. All these finances that they're all involved in to buy properties and go on holidays. You know, these are multi-billionaires and that's what they do. And up the stairs is replying to the black and white boy. I've never seen Dune, but it looks rubbish. I'll never watch that crap. Same as me. Same as me. What the fuck? What's the... Same as me. Ollie Denise, you dropped a $1 million Rolex. Do you know what? I've never had a Rolex. Couldn't afford them, to be honest. But I think the two. If I had a Rolex on, they'd think it's phony. You know, it's a fake one. You know what I mean? They'd think it's a fake one. Because I like watches. I always had a fetish for watches. And when I was with my ex-partner, we were broken into, and all my watches went. I had some smashing watches. I had vintage watches, which I collected over the years. Every time I think about it. There's a couple of French watches. I had a great vintage watch, and it was from 1928. And never forget, it had a brown strap, leather, a little rectangular, oblong, I'm sorry, face. Beautiful. That got stolen. There's a few of them. Even a Breitling. I had a Tagore. I got stolen. I wrote. Michael J. Pollard. The Promise 2016 set during the last days of the Ottoman Empire. Powerful. I seen that? There's Ray Fiennes in that. Let me know, Michael, if Ray Fiennes, who stars in it? Who's the star of it? Because I'm sure I've seen it. Because I like things like that. You know, to see if they're authentic or not. Ali the Noose. Someone once said, when you drop something, it will go in the furthest place possible. Or it goes in the nearest place that you don't expect, just like what it dropped there. I was right underneath this fucking chair here. And I've been looking over there because you can hear it roll. Mad, isn't it? Up the stairs says she was in 200 Days of Night. 30 Days of Night. Melissa George and Home and Away. Yes, she went from that, didn't she? But 30 Days of Night, brilliant film with Josh Hartnett. One of the best vampire films made. Am I right there upstairs? Up the stairs? Am I right? Cracking film. And you can get that on YouTube as well. 30 Days of Night. Smashing film. Owen Lee. Good morning, Frank and chat. How you doing? You're okay? Everything's going on this one. From films to politics. And Ali says Zelensky is a puppet. They sold guns from Romania to Africa. Yeah, well, no one knows where the arms are going. They go on the black market. Ukraine soldiers never saw these weapons. Romanian and Ukrainian leaders sold them in Burkina Faso. Zelensky milking the money for them. Yeah, of course. Of course. Callum. There he is, Carlyle. What are you like? I had as well. I used to buy them in Zanika. That's that Greek island, isn't it? With €2 from Pakistani people and sold them in Romania for €50. Everybody was so happy to buy Rolex watches for only €50 long ago. I always remember I had my old Breitling on, which got stolen actually. I went over to Turkey for, when it was bagels, when I was with my ex-partner. And that went as well, a Breitling. I was so proud of the Breitling. It was a lovely watch. So anyway, I went over to Turkey. And I went to a place called Kuşadası, and I wanted to go and see Ephesus, which is a Roman town. Beauty, I was made up with it, when I went there. Blew all my expectations. Absolutely phenomenal. And anyway, I was in a bazaar in Kuşadası. Just went around. And this fella, I was looking at the watches, and I seen these, different watches, a couple of Breitlings as well. And I was looking at the Breitlings, and the fella seen me, and he went, "Look, you buy." And I went, "No." I said, "I don't need it." I said, "I've got one, look." I said, "That's real. What do I want that for? You buy." And he fucking followed me all around the place, He's following me. You can trust them people. So you made a few by the way, Ali. Michael J. Christian Bale. Yeah, I've seen it. The Promise. Yeah. I knew it was someone. Do you know what though? I don't like that Christian Bale. He's a horrible person in real life. You know, to the crews, you know, on the film set. He's horrible. Mr. Big I Am, if you know what I mean. One of the nicest people on film sets is Nick Cage. He's brilliant to the crews. Yep. Nick Cage. And who told me that was none other than Stephen Graham. Because I said to him, I said, you've acted with Nick Cage. He says, yeah. So what's he like? He said, beautiful. But it wasn't only told by him, it was told by a few people about Nick Cage. So anyone like that, Frank Sinatra, one of the greatest, I always called him a philanthropist, you know, because he didn't have people. He was in New Mexico or Arizona, somewhere like that. I think it was New Mexico. And he was doing, he was making a film, cowboy film. It was like a comedy sort of thing, you know, a light-hearted one. With Dean Martin. Well, it was something two rolled together, something like that. And him and Dean Martin went to Mass. It was a Sunday. And when they went in, you know, they looked up and they seen big holes in the ceiling, in the roof. And they were talking to the priest later on. And he said, why can't you get that fixed? He said, no one's got any money around here. No one. He said, just as well it doesn't rain. He said, oh, it rains here. He says, and when it rains, it pours. He said, well, what happens with the church? He says, it just floods out. The next day, there was a company. Sinatra sent a firm out to fix the roof and everything else. And on the last day of the shoot, they went to, him and Dean Martin went to this church. And he said, thanks, Father, you know, for everything and the services. And he said, no, thank you to getting the roof done. And he said, well, yeah, just in case the roof goes again, gave him $10,000. That was then, that was a lot of money. You know, so you can imagine, like, the inflation it'll be today. I haven't a clue, like, what it'll be today, but it'll be a hell of a lot rather than the $10,000 that he gave him. You know what I mean? Another time he was in Rome, and he always went to this cafe, only a little cafe. And he always got by this table, this little table with you know, a check tablecloth. And he always went, because he enjoyed this particular meal and whatever. And sometimes he used to send for meals from there to New York, where he lived. He used to send for meals. And that's how, you know, that he loved this little small cafe. And he always went in there when he was in Italy. And one day he walked in and his table was taken. Someone was sitting in the table. And the owner came over to him and said, Mr. Sinatra, you know, I can't move these. He said, I'm not asking you to. He said, well, just in case, you know, that you wanted me to move them. but I will move them if you want me to. He said, no, they're there. They didn't know I was coming in. He didn't even know, like, they mightn't even know me. And I can't just, like, claim that table. So anyway, the owner was a bit obnoxious to him. And he was sitting, he was sitting somewhere. And this old waiter, always served him. And he said, hello, Mr. Sinatra. He said, you're okay? He said, I'm sorry about it. He said, don't be worrying. He said, don't be worrying. And he said, Senor, whatever his name was, the owner. He said, have you ever had a rise or something like that? He said, no. He said, I just rely on tips. He said, I really do. He said, so why have you been here for all these years if you just rely? He said, at least I can get something to eat for me and my wife. And my kids now have got. I'm old now. He said, so Sinatra, it's genuine this, Sinatra went to the owner and he said, have you ever thought about retiring? He said, no. He said, how would you like to retire? He said, what do you mean? And he went, and he held up wrote something. He said, I'll give you that for this restaurant now. He said, yeah. He said, okay. He said, I'll be back tomorrow. Have your lawyer or whatever. I'll be here at midday to have some lunch. He said, okay. So he went. It was signed over, all the deeds and everything. And everything, the bank's done all the thing. Wasn't going to bring a bank bag full of money, was he? So, everything was done. And he asked he said, where's, I forget the fella's name, this older man, waiter. He said, he's not on till tonight, he can't do the full day shift. He said, is there any way you can get hold of him and ask him to come down? Just say I said. And he said, he phones him up. He said, okay, get down here. He said, Mr. Sinatra wants to see you. And he went, yeah. So anyway, he goes down and he said, yeah, it's yours. He said, what is? He said, this place is yours now. That's what he did. That's what kind of a fella he did. When Ava Gardner died, his ex-wife, she had nothing. She died in London and he paid for everything to give her a decent send-off. He was a great fella, Sinatra. To the contrary of what you heard about him. But you never upset him. There was a fella named Tommy Sands, a singer, and Sinatra got him a part in this picture, this film. And like a soldier thing, war thing. He got him, he was made up because Tommy was knocking around with Nancy Sinatra. And Tommy Sands did the dirty on Nancy. But she did, she's lovely. I wouldn't have done the dirty on her, but that way. And Sinatra destroyed Tommy Sands' career. He said, you don't fuck with my daughter. That was it. The end of Tommy. I like Sinatra. And yet, singing, I'd rather have, Dean Martin. And Dean Martin was a hard man. You wouldn't think so, would you? Look at that fella. And he could only speak Italian until he was 8 years of age because his, his mother and father and his like siblings, he only spoke Italian in the house. I think he could only speak Italian until he was 8. Do you know? Anyway, yeah, it was me following you. I wanted an autograph. Paul said, a good film I would recommend for you, Frank, is Trap, starring seen it? Seen it? Very good, isn't it? It's as you're thinking at the start, isn't it? It's good. I like Josh Hartnett. He's a very good actor. He really is. Anyway, Ali says, I have a good cousin. He played long ago in a film called Hellraiser 8. I wanted to watch it since they made it back in 2000, but I never did. You're not going to believe this. I used to play badminton with this fella. I used to just, I used to go along to the local thing because I like badminton. That was when I was okay. And anyway, I'm sorry about this. Sorry about this. So anyway, I used to play with him. And he was a good badminton player. I wasn't bad myself. Just keep fit. So anyway, on the Boxing Day, no, it wasn't. It was Christmas Day. We used to go to this pub when my ex. We used to go around to my ex's mother for the Christmas dinner, and we always used to go to this pub for the drink where she lived. And in the pub was this fella who I played badminton with. I'm like, whoa. I said, what are you doing? He said, I come around to my sisters. He said, come over and meet my sister and my brother-in-law. And I went, okay. Went over, met them. Honestly, this is genuine. You're not going to believe it. I'll show you something before, and you'll understand why. You'll understand why, what I'm going to say. Honestly. Just bear with me. Please bear with me. Oh, please bear with me on this. This is the way I looked. This is the way I looked at the time. And this fellow was staring at me. And do you know the way you get it from? Oh, fucking hell, this fella staring at me. This was the brother-in-law. And he said to me, he said, have you ever acted? I said, no. He said, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. He said, listen, he said, we're doing a film. He said, I looked at it, fuck's this. I knew who it was Peter Atkins. And Peter Atkins, believe it or not, was the screenwriter for the franchise of Hellraiser. And he said to me, there's a character in it. He said, and you're ideal. Your features, everything is ideal for this particular character. He said, we can give you the part. He said, I'll give you the part now. It was filmed down in London. with a very good actor by the name of Robertson. And this Robertson fella, great actor, but you never hardly heard of him. And you'll know him by, he was a psycho in Dirty Harry, the first Dirty Harry film. He was a lunatic, but he was the star of the thing. And this is what he was saying. Hang on. This is me. This is why he said, you're the perfect. That's me. He said, you will be perfect. And I went, oh, I said, I can't act. I said, I couldn't act the goat. He said, oh. And years later, I ended up in a pantry. And there's a player there. Credit the boards and the Empire. Mad, isn't it? So isn't that mad? Isn't that mad, Ali? You mentioned about the Hellraiser. True Italian man. Long gone are the days, unfortunately. Someone mentioned last night, Frank the Italian stallion. I said, oh, the stallion's well gone. The Italian stallion. Yeah, so, when we're watching film, I like films. But the thing is, people, like I don't like these wokey ones. I really don't. There's no need for it. There's no need for this wokeness just to put people in. There's no need for it. So I watch, little black and white ones, and there's a cracking film. Michael, I recognise you now. Sure, see, when you see people, and I've seen loads of them, and you go, fucking hell, haven't they changed? Aged. Oh, wow. So, yes. Thank you, Michael, for reminding me. I forgot what I did. We train of thoughts gone. I forgot. I was going to mention a film, wasn't I? I was going to mention a film. Oh yeah, you've got to try and watch a thing with John Mills. Mills is a great actor, There's all these mad films, and the only time he ever got an Oscar, he never said a word of it. Ryan's daughter. He played like and fantastic. Robert De Mitchum was in it. And Mitchum apparently said, why hasn't this guy got any words? He said, I love the way he speaks. Give him a few lines. But he couldn't, because he was one of the character, couldn't speak at all. Ryan Stewart. Played, I hate saying it, I never categorised anybody, but he played the village idiot. And he got an Oscar for it. But Mills, it's called Morning Departure. It's a cracking little black and white film. And you see all, the stalwarts, the actors that you've seen in all those films of the 40s and 30s, and not 40s and 30s, the 50s, 40s and 50s. All the stalwart actors. And you go, wow, wow, remember him, you know, just have a look. Morning Departure. So try and watch it. Try and watch it. Morning Departure. But there's loads of them. There's loads of black and white films on YouTube. See, look, I don't like propaganda, you know, today. But at the time, like during the Second World War, we had to have propaganda. We really did. We had to have propaganda. And I love all those films, like The Way Ahead with David Niven. Cracking film. I got the colorized version. So try and watch The Way Ahead. It's brilliant. It really is a great film. It really is a great film, The Way Ahead. And I'll tell you another great film as well, which I watched. A Matter of Life and Death. A Matter of Life and Death. David Niven. And if you're thinking, I always remember an old neighbour of mine when I was married, you know, used to live. And this neighbour, I was talking to, he always invited me over, you know, if it was a summer's day, especially at the weekend. Come over, Frank, have a drink. I always had a couple of beers with him. He always had beers in. I used to sit there. And he said about David Niven, he said, oh, coward him. And he was going on. I'm just sitting there taking it all in. And I said, no, you've got the wrong actor. I said, who you should be talking about is Cary Grant. Cary Grant's the guy. So I had to tell him about David Niven. David Niven, before he was an actor, he was in the army and he was an officer. And during the war, as soon as war broke out, he was back here and joined his own regiment. It was a Scottish regiment, if I remember correctly. And he joined there, you know, back being an officer. Back being an officer to what he was, his own rank. And in the meantime, he was making these films, you know, because he was asked to make these films, these propaganda films, the likes of, as Michael J. says, yes, a fantastic film, the likes of A Matter of Life and Death, the likes of The Way Ahead. There's another, it's a cracking film. I didn't half like it. It's about R.J. Mitchell, the inventor of the Spitfire. And he made that as well. He made that. Cracking film. I forget what it was called. But R.J. Mitchell, but Leslie Howard, and David Niven, you'll easily get it, you know, if you just put their names in. Forget what it was called. Fantastic. Great film. R.J. Mitchell and David Niven. So, you know, that again, a propaganda film. And don't forget to mention Perfectly Frank with David Canop. Do you ever see him, David? I always used to see him down in Bowl Street. I used to bump into him in Bowl Street for some reason. It was on the radio with him one night. As you mentioned about Perfectly Frank, there used to be me, Frank Maudsley, out of Flock of Seagulls, and Frank Prendergast. He was the leader of then, the Labour Council. And we used to go on it was every week, I don't know what day it was, say Friday or something like that, when Dean Sullivan had a show. And one part segment was Perfectly Frank. And the three Franks were there. Used to talk everything, politics especially. He used to be in a band called the Deadbirds. Hey, David Canopper or Frank Maudsley. Frank Maudsley. He was all right, Frank, Maudsley. Haven't seen him for years. Used to go out. Do you know what? We went in the Globe in Casey Street one day. We was out. It was afternoon. Lovely day. And we goes in there for a drink. And the karaoke was going. And no one knew him. He goes in. And he said, can I get up there? And he said, yeah, you'll be after Maggie. He said, okay. After fucking Maggie. So he gets up after Maggie, she said, no, my lord, and all this. And he gets up, sings. It was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. And the older the glow was like, it was that good. Especially after Maggie. And these other people, singing the way the old brilliant the way they sing. Look at me, I'm looking at you. He just gets up and brilliant. I met Dean Sullivan once, says Edward, in a night with a medium. He used to do Raki. Dino was a cracking fella. He really was. He loved his wine, nice. He loved a nice Chianti. Cracking fella. Just went like that. I've had some nice friends, I really have. Who've now passed on. Getting at that age where, you ask about someone and you go, guys, fucking hell. And Michael says, wasn't he the ex-partner of Fred the Weatherman? I asked him that once. And he said, no. He said, we just knew him. I said, it wasn't because, he said, no, he said, it's, once someone labels you, Frank, you get a terrible name. So he said, no, he said, it's like a click. He said, I was always working, acting around, and he was the weatherman down at the dock there. He said, and people used to go to this, he never said a pub, but for a few drinks, and he was always in there. With Richard and Judy and things like that. He said, and they asked me to go on the show once. I said, yeah, okay. So we went. He said, I went. Appeared on the show. Fred, the weatherman, was there. He said, we started chatting. He said, don't you ever go to the, said, that was it. That was it. People might have seen me walking over to, where we had drinks and that, and just got put 2 and 2 together, and came out with 9. I said, no. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And he says, anyway, he was too old for me. And little, like a little lads, because he was only small, wasn't he, that fella? You don't think what's behind a mask, do you? You don't think what's behind a mask. Fucking horrible. Look, boys and girls, I might as well leave it. So before I go, is there any films that you would recommend? And don't forget, tomorrow we've got that watch along, the match. Pre-match, for half an hour. So it'll be half an hour before the kick-off will be on. For the pre-match. Then the watch along. Then the post-match. Got my daughter coming down today, Francine. The Conor Ben fight tonight. I don't watch boxing anymore. Don't watch it. All the violence has gone out of me. What will I be doing tonight? One thing's for certain, I won't be going out. I wish I could. I wish I could get dressed up, get out there. A few beers in the town. Can't do it no more. I don't take things for granted. And remember, all you football fans, what could be won? The watch. Sorry at that. Why? Football. Someone get it, fantasy, the end of the season. And that's for the Premier League, that watch. And this is for the Champions League. the programme from Madrid 2019, Liverpool versus Spurs. Who scored the first goal? Mo Salah. And there's his autograph. And that's up for grabs as well. Whoever wins it, having a clue who's winning that, having a clue. The programme. And Paul said, "Oh, your family going to the game, Frank? It's virtually impossible to get tickets to any game. I only live down the road. It's easier to win the lottery." No, I want. I've got a granddaughter, Sophia, and I brought her the game. She's a little red, and I brought her the game last year to see Southampton. It was the only one I could get a ticket, and it was a cup match, Southampton. And she was made up. And she said, "Granddad, will you take me to one of the big matches?" Because all she wanted to see was Trent and Mo Salah. Because she used to as she was little, her mother said, "Tell your granddad who your favourite player is," and she said Mo Salah. And her mother said, "Sing the song about Mo Salah." Mo Salah, Mo Salah, running down the wing. Mo Salah. But anyway, and I said, "I'll try and get you there." I haven't got it there since. I haven't got it. And the other that said, "Look, you know that I've been to finals. I was in the bloody 65. I was at the bloody 65 final to see us win our first FA Cup." You know what I mean? It's when, kids could go to pictures, if you know what I mean. Without fear. You can't do it today on the road. Rome twice. Wembley, seeing them retain it in 78. Paris. You know what I mean? All of them. Queuing up for tickets for cup matches. Queuing up. 2:00 in the morning. Waiting for the gates to open. The ticket thing. 9:00 in the morning to get your ticket. Freezing cold. A kid. And what happens? All of a sudden, all these people come in, these fucking business people. I'm sorry about this, my face is all itchy. It's shocking because of this fucking thing I've got. So anyway, once these business people come in, you're the last to get a ticket. And I told you, didn't I? I wanted to bring Asfer to Francie and get me 3 tickets, the corporate. And it would have cost me £3,060 for the 3 of us. £3,060. And it wasn't even an A-list team. It was Crystal Palace last season. Fuck that. That's shocking, man. And that was for the Annie Road. So I couldn't get a ticket. I can't even go now. But I just wanted to watch a league match with my granddaughter. And she went to the game, not game, she went last week. Show you how dedicated she is. She went, she went to, just bear with me, bear with me. She loves the Beatles. She loves the Beatles, to say Sophia. And she went last week up to, on the Anfield Road tour, yeah, the Anfield tour. And with Trent, she loves Trent. And where I'm going, she put the most solid thing. There she is, there, on the tour. She just loves Liverpool. And there she is, look, doing the arrow, Salah's arrow. What he does, what he scores. Just can't take it. And it's sad. See, look. Salah. So sad. So sad. Can't take it. Because I can't get tickets. And Michael J. Do it, Frank. Go out. Can't, Michael. I honestly can't. I wish I could. Can't walk. I can't walk more than 10 steps. My place, it's an open plan, and I'm just made up. It's an open plan because I can walk to the kitchen, make myself a cup of tea, and walk back, sit down. Paul Turner. I couldn't even get tickets for the cup game against Accrington. There you go, Paul. And Edward says, we win the league tomorrow, parties in town. Yeah. I'd love to. Like there's a thing, isn't there, George Scott, and it's a celebration of when we won the first FA Cup, 65. 65. And you get a dinner that was given to the players, celebratory dinner in the Grosvenor Hotel, and you're getting the same dinner. Tickets at 20 quid. And you've got the bootleg Beatles on. It'll be a great night. Right in the middle of town. And it's called the Reds Bar. Right next to Exchange Flags. Exchange Street East. Exchange Street East. It's called the Reds. And that's where it's going to be held. And there's no way I can go to that. There's no way. I would have loved to have gone. It's just the way it's just the pain of it. Just can't get rid of the pain. Paul says, have you heard the comments from Ricky Tomlinson saying we should have shared with Everton's new ground at Bramley Moor? No, I know Ricky. No. Why? I wonder why he said that. Doesn't make sense. And we've got a bigger capacity. I think Ricky was looking back and, there was talk of sharing a ground years ago, building it on Stanley Park. I was against it then because once you start sharing grounds, you lose the identity. And you know that I follow Serie A, and you had Turin and Juve. Oh, you did? Yeah, Turin and Juve sharing their ground. And it was ruining the pitch because there was matches being played every day, more or less, every week, obviously. Whereas, say like Anfield, you'd have like a week's rest, a couple of weeks rest, where, the ground settles again, the turf I'm talking about. But the likes of Turin, Juve, in Turin, it's being played on all the time. Played on every week. And if there was cup matches, the likes of Juve could be at home getting a draw, and the likes of Turin getting a home draw as well. It'd have to be played. One would play of a day, and the other one would play of a night, or a couple of days later. And it was just the pitch was being destroyed. The same as San Siro. I used to, follow the Inter. And when you looked at it like a derby game, or any game for that matter, you just see big patches of grass. That's being relayed every game. So it just changes up. The only idea was the Japanese had when, they had the World Cup, the Japs. And they had two pitches. When one game was played, it used to roll off and another one rolled in. So that was an idea, if you know what I mean. Well, that was the Japanese. Paul says, I bet it was easier getting tickets for the 65. We all got them. Even, remember the 74 one against Newcastle? Me and my mate went down. He said, no, fucking hell, I only found out that he died the other month. I went, how's they getting on? He died 6 months ago. I said, no, I get to know nothing. But anyway, we were there and we had tickets. Fucking great. Tickets for European finals. Cost a fortune anyway. But it was worth it. I can't legislate for the way it's gone for tickets. Like I've got mates who say about, being in a mixture with. He said, and there's pockets of them. He said, I'm not having a go at them. He said, but there's pockets of, like, say, and he said Japanese, or even Germans, Norwegians, Swedes, Danes. They're from everywhere. He said they're all over the place. Season ticket holders. Yeah, it was easier, Paul. But as I said, I think any game, but it's just the way it is. It's the way it is. You're a Reds, I'm a Red. People on here are Reds. We can't wait for tomorrow. The jealousy surrounds them. Liverpool. Oh, it's shocking. I don't know what it's all about. The easiest league in there. Oh, this is, everyone's there. That's shocking. It's a shame. Undermining Liverpool by winning the championship, the Prem. It's just undermining. It's like when we won it. Remember COVID? And when we won it, we said, well, it wasn't really a win, everyone was sick. Fuck off. That sickens me. That really sickens me. It defies everything. It defies everything. It defies everything. Excuse me. I haven't got anything here, But it defies everything. It really does defy things. And when you look at, when you try to get a ticket, then you've got the touts. They say their excuse, the owners, the club, were trying to do away with the touts. So, oh, are you? So you're sending them to fucking Singapore and Melbourne? No disrespect when I mention those places. Because people buy them and fly over. That's the fucking ticket that should be going to us. We've got no chance. There's a thing like a fan club thing, and my grandson James and Ben, they're both in it. So is Francine, the mother. And sometimes James is very lucky. He gets tickets sometimes, like 2. But what he does, he says to Ben, you're the grandson, come on. Or he says to his mother, come on, me and you. So by hook or by crook, I promised Francine, it's her birthday coming up in May, the end of May. I said, I'll try and get you 2 tickets, one for you and Sophie, before the end of the season. I'll buy you stuff. Oh, thanks, Dad. Cost a fortune, I suppose. So anyway, good people. Someone asked me, what my favourite film was, and I said, didn't I? I said The Wild Bunch, which is a cracking film. And I watched The Fallen Idol. Someone mentioned The Fallen Idol, or something about Idol. So I looked at it again, The Fallen Idol, little black and white film. Sir Ralph Richardson, fantastic film. Great actor in. You had the 3 greats, didn't you? Gail Good, Olivier, and Richards. They were the masters. The masters. Always remember Olivier saying a story, and they were doing a Shakespeare play, the 3 of them together. And he said, look, we'll have to get this right. We'll have to, on Sunday, we'll have to, listen to my Sunday. He said, it's the Sabbath. He said, but I forget what play it was. Something mad. Shakespeare, not mad, I love Shakespeare. But it was a Shakespeare play. He said, no, we got to get right, at least, we can have, and we can have lunch or whatever, so I'm about to do us a lunch. And he said, what time are you thinking? And he said, well, we could do it morning. You could come at 9 o'clock. He said, can we make it 10:30? He said, yeah, why? He said, I'll be at Mass. Because he was a staunch Roman Catholic. Richardson didn't know that. But it was the way Olivier was saying, he said everything stopped for Ralph. He called him Rafe. For Rafe, everything. But they're the greats. They're the greats. I'll tell you who else was a great actor. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Forget his name. Fucking hell. His name has escaped me. You can see him there now. Oh, blimey. If you ever watched Great English Actor, fucking hell, what's his name? I'd watch anything with him in as well. And his name's gone from me. Losing it. And I tell you, I just want to try and get his name. God blimey, what's his fucking name? Isn't it terrible when you're you can't think of a name and you can see them? Denholm Elliott. Couldn't think of his name. Strange, isn't it? Denholm Elliott, great actor. Even his old films, when he first kicked off. Right up to, Trading Places. With Eddie Murphy. I think it was Eddie Murphy who said, I think the pair of them, Dan Aykroyd, said, he gave us a masterclass in acting. Denholm Elliott. A masterclass in acting. That's how they were revered. And Michael says, I wish you well. I hope your prostate results come back good. However, if not, I can help you if you need it. Michael, I've got to, sort of, well, they wanted to see me urgently, so. He was great in Rising Damp. No, you're getting mixed up with Leonard Rossiter. I'm talking about Denholm Elliott. Denholm Elliott. I don't think he ever was in there. Rising Damp. So listen, boys, I'm going to finish now. I've got to take it there. I didn't know that, Michael. And I thought I've watched all the Rising Damp. When you look at Michael, when you look at Rising Damp, you laugh. You can watch the one episode all the time and laugh because of the expressions on Rigsby and the two lads. when he was taking Miss Jones out and he comes in with this suit on, fuck. And like an off-white shirt, was supposed to be like fucking grey it was. And he comes in and he had gloves on. And the two lads look at him and say, "You look like a corpse." But anyway, when they dress him up, taking Miss Jones out, so funny. Try and watch that episode. It's fucking hilarious. It's just lovely. I love Dad's Army as well. The first episodes. Hello. First episodes. So fun. I just say this once. But once someone leaves, that's it, I won't watch them. The likes of that Francesca Gonshaw, she left one of the maids, she left after 3 series. That was it. Won't watch it. Never watched it then. And then Dad's Army, when Walker died, that was it. Paul, take care, Frank. Have a good day. See you on the watch. Thanks, Paul. And Christopher, all the best, Frank. Hope you sorted the chemist. We're going to win the league up, the Reds, says Christopher. Yes. I'm going to sort the year. I'll have to have changed the pharmacy because I'm not fucking having that again. I was under so much stress. Because I followed rules, you know what I mean? And once that surgeon said, don't miss a day. Fuck it. Because I just go up myself and get them, but I can't fucking walk. I can't walk more than 10 paces. It's shocking. I can't even walk to the shop along the road. And Michael says, can't beat Only Fools. Thing is, with Only Fools, once the granddad dies, I wouldn't watch it then with that Uncle Albert. That was it. I just watched those. First, when the granddad was it. I thought it was brilliant. Do chair exercises. Yeah, I understand that, Michael J. But do you know when I get up off this now, I have to use my two, and this is going to fucking kill me. It's like I can't text. If I text with my pub on my iPhone, I get a pain from there to there. Just one sinew, I believe it is. Something I've got. That's why I hardly use this tongue. And the pain is excruciating. And it lasts for about 10 minutes. I'm physically sick. In other words, I'm falling to bits. Yeah, someone mentioned that. Someone said you can get like a thing and they got pedals on. And you can, that's a good idea. Or, pretend that you're riding a bike like I'm doing it now. How's my head going like? Well, between 14 and 16, that age, me and the mates used to go over. We used to have our good bikes. My old girl got me a cracking bike. And we used to go over to Llangollen and the Horseshoe Pass in Wales. Okay. And Christopher says, always order meds when you get down to it. I do, but you've got to give, like, I remember I was in the doctor's, right? And it was on the, I don't know whether it was the Thursday or the Friday. I had to go up, I had an appointment. And my meds was due the following week on the Thursday, you know, when I run out. I always ran out on the Wednesday, you know, and I had my last 3 pills on the Wednesday night, you know, for that night. So the next morning. Anyway, I always got them on a Thursday. So I said to the reception, I said, can I order my... She said, no. I said, why? I said, I'll save me phoning up. She said, no, can't. Because we have to bring it through to the doctor. And I always rang up. She said, just ring up on a Tuesday. It'll be at the chemist for you for the Thursday. And they deliver it to me. I said, yeah. He said, be okay. And that was fine until these people have taken over. Well, I'm off now, boys. And I'll see you tomorrow. Michael J says 15 minutes a day doing the pedal. Thanks for the tip. So listen, I'll as our Italian friends say, ci vediamo a domani. Ciao bella. Amico.